our volcano
That was
to
funny.
sell product, stuff like that. And we didn't know what to do. Well, I lied to you a little bit. I told you that we didn't have any volcanologists.
This was worth it.
We had a few, a little handful. You know where they were? Yeah, some of you know right away. Hawaii. Because we had an observatory there since, I think, the turn of the century. And that's quite a different kind of volcano. But they were volcanologists. Some of those guys over here, because we don't know what we're doing. And so they called them up on the phone. And it went something like this, ring-a-ling-a-ling. And the guy picked up the phone at the observatory in Hawaii. Yes, this is Mount St. Helens. Yes, what is it you want? They said, well, we're having phreatic eruptions, by the way. You know when I told you about the eruptions, the going up? It was called phreatic. That means not real. It was a fake. And a fake eruption happens like this. You get down in that hole, and down here you've got the hot magma. And it's heating up the rock above it, super hot. And when that water hits that rock, it flashes to steam, and it tears out old sections of the mountain.
Oh.
You follow me? Nothing new. No new magma or anything like that. It's old stuff that you're shooting up in the air. So it was called phreatic. They said we're having phreatic eruptions, and we're having lots of quakes every day, hundreds of quakes. And maybe you better. And the guy says, hold on. And he laid the phone down. And he go in the back room, and he gets the map out. Where's this Mount St. Helens? Don't know where we are. And finally, I understand, by the way, that he was looking in the Caribbean. He thought he was by Aruba. And, it sounds like it, doesn't it? St. Helens, nice place to vacation. So anyway, he finally found out where Mount St. Helens was. They said, yeah, we'll send a few guys over. So they came over here. Now, what month did I tell you it was? March. And in the winter here, this building is covered to the top. We can't see it with snow. There's like in the parking lot 15, 18 feet of snow. It's really bad here. And here come these guys driving up the highway here, the old road. And they drive up the valley, and right out here in front of the mountain, there used to be a parking lot. They used to use it for climbing the mountain and that, Well, they decided they would use that parking lot for monitoring the mountain. So they coated the parking lot with snow like this. Can you see those guys in the short pants and the don't know what a snow shovel is? And they're out there trying to clear things out, and they want to start monitoring. And then, the equipment that they had wasn't that great back then. Who makes equipment for volcanologists? Nobody. And they had some stuff, but it was quite rudimentary. You guys got it so good now. I'm telling you. I can remember standing right here my last visit some years ago, and there was a guy over there. He says, hey, come over here. So I come over there. He says, look at this. What is that? He says, that's GPS. Well, what is that? He said, I can tell you right where we are on the Earth. I said, my God, I'm glad you arrived. I was over there. I didn't know where I was. Right where we are. But we got all this stuff from space, GPS, and we didn't have that stuff.
Oh, he's awesome.
And they were trying to set up some of their equipment. They were digging through the ice and everything. Do you know what a tilt meter is? Have some of you seen it? Looks like a big tripod, and it has many levels on it. And if you get it set right, then it should tell you what the land is doing. Maybe the magma's coming up over there, maybe right under the mountain, And they were having a terrible time down there, chipping away at the ice. The only place they could put the tilt meter was on the floor of the outhouse. And then they started monitoring. All you guys got to do is get out here and monitor the mountain. You guys in the short pants. So they're out there monitoring, and I remember some of the things they did were so rudimentary, that they would come up with. For instance, I'll give you the for instance. There's a crack developed on the side of the mountain. the guy sends Charlie down to True Value. Get some cement nails. Put cement nails on each side of the crack. You could measure with a simple child's ruler what was going on.
Wow.
And then they developed things. They came up with their own ideas and so forth. I'll give you one I thought was particularly good. You see that lake over there? Your lake? That used to be 200 feet long. And there used to be stumps all the way around. And he said, Charlie, go down to True Value, get a big stack of feeder sticks. Took the feeder sticks, put them on the stumps at the same level all the way around the lake. You see where I'm going with this? Suddenly had turned the whole lake into a gigantic level and would watch what was happening on the land by watching the lake. You know,
That's cool.
you can tell a lot. These guys came up with all kinds of things because they had to, but they didn't have a lot of equipment at that time, really. And then I think one of the things that went wrong at that time, I guess the one guy was off in the east, Crandall. Melano had gone to Canada, I think, the other guy that wrote the history of this place. And they heard what was going on here, and they were going to come back and have a look. And I think Melano was coming down the road. He got a call from down in Vancouver, you know, our headquarters. Don, yeah, get down here right now. No, I'm going to Mount St. Helens. I want to have a look. You know, I wrote the paper on that. Yeah, we know you did. Get down here right now. He said, why do I have to come down there? He said, ABC, CBS, NBC, Time Magazine, they're all down here asking stupid questions about volcanoes. We don't know anything. You get down here, talk to these guys. You know, you wrote the report, and then when they got down there, they told them to draw new maps. You guys just drew cursory maps, you know, back when you did the report. We want to know absolutely what this volcano could do to us. So you update those maps. So what I'm kind of telling you folks is the guys that know this mountain best, where are they? They're down there, you know, they're writing reports, they're talking to the press, the guys in the short pants up here, and the communication ain't so good. One day Melano don't have to talk to the press. He gets in his pickup and he comes up this road up the valley, and there were a couple guys driving behind him, other geologists, and they get up here and they pull in the parking lot. I was not there, but I am told what it was like. Melano gets out of the truck and he takes about 2 steps like this, you know, and he looks up to the right and he turns around and they said his eyes were this big. And he says, get out of here right now, you're all gonna die. You know what he saw there? Yeah. A lot of people don't know about that. The mountain had bulged out terribly. And people still ask, if he could see it in 2 seconds, how come the hotshots from Hawaii couldn't see it? When they couldn't see the mountain 95% of the time. The weather's bad. They're trying to do this and that, you know. And this thing had been growing for a year. It had been growing for a year. They thought the mountain looked like that. And Melano said, it don't look like that. That thing is so, you know, twisted up there, that mountain, you know, it's so distorted. Maybe we can pull that up for them. I just wanted you to see Mount St. Helens the way it was.
Oh, wow.
They used to call it the perfect mountain, you know, the Mount Fuji of America. Now I want you to see what Melano saw.
Oh my
Don't pay
God.
no attention to those Hawaiians in the command. See how distorted it is. And he was telling them, no, it don't look like that. And he said that mountain is not made out of cement. That is old pile of rubble. And if it gets a shaking, that's going to come down on top of you any minute. You get out of here right now. And he got those guys out of there. He got the people out of the valley. He got the people away from the lake, except the old man. And you know where they went? You're here. Just a half mile down this ridge is where the encampment is. There's still a bench down there dedicated to David Johnston.
Wow.
That's where he died. And they pulled back and they started watching from that spot. Just a minute, I gotta see. You guys have to see a movie? Oh boy. Am I rattling on too long here? But I will say a couple more things then. They came back here and they had to look at the bulge from here. And how do you monitor a bulge? One of the things that had come into usage back then is those of you that can think back to the 1980s, laser. And we had a laser, it was called a geodometer. And all you need basically is the geodometer, and then you need young geologists, don't know too much. You say, Fred, you climb up on that bulge, and you put out some reflectors, which they got a guy to do. They were just like car reflectors. And then you get back here with the geodometer, and you go bing, 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 bing off the reflector. Then you go home for a day, and you come back, bing, 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 bing. What should it tell you? There's been a change. Wasn't that easy? With the geodometer, you had to know air pressure, how much water was in the air, 15 variables. Then you do 3 pages of math. Then you get an answer to what's happening. Well, they sent a young guy up here, and he knew how to run the geodometer. He came up here, bing, 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 went home, came back the next day, bing, 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 did his math, looked at the answer. If I go back to the shop and tell them this, they're going to shoot me. You know, I know how to run this thing, so he does it again, does his math again, same answer. These guys had never seen a mountain swell more than a couple centimeters in a day. And the answer he keeps getting here is 5 feet. You know the difference between 2 centimeters and 5 feet. And every day that they measured after that, it was another 5 feet, another 5 feet, another 5 feet. You know, it just kept expanding upward. And finally, on May 18th, 1980, it did exactly what Melano said it was going to do. It shook, and down came the bulge. He said at the time, if that bulge comes down, it will be the biggest avalanche any of you geologists have ever seen. He got more than he bargained for. If you are very, very observant, you can look up at the mountain, and some of you might notice the top is missing. The top came with it. And when it came down, it was the largest avalanche ever recorded in history. You know the houses I told you were out here along the road in the valley? The houses, the cottages, the cabins. If we delve out there right now to try to find those, we have to go down 600 feet. You're only seeing the surface of what's out here. You don't see the 600 feet of stuff that goes down. That goes on almost 15 miles down the valley. So everything that Melano said pretty much came true. They would have been buried. The old man was buried up at the lake. He's under the lake and under all that mountain. He's got to be the best planted man in the Western Hemisphere. But anyway, he's still up there. I should tell you that the guys learned their lesson here, these geologists, these volcanologists from Hawaii. They wrote the first program for the computer.
Wow.
They learned 100 things a day. They learned thousands of things. And I should end up by telling you that when they came here, they didn't know much. They knew a little bit about Hawaiian volcanoes. 10 years after this happened, some of you will remember this, there was a volcano called Pinatubo. Remember it? It was in the Philippines. If you were going to call the shots on Pinatubo, you had to be really good. Here's Pinatubo. What are you going to do if you're the head geologist? These guys called the shots perfectly. And they were the guys that learned their lesson in this valley down here, you know, back then. And I think we went from being maybe the worst in the world. We ended up, I think, some of the best volcanologists in the world.
Wow.
Okay, let's leave.